one that's really different from the previous one.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of a departure for us. I don't know if you've seen our other movies. We wanted to, every movie is our most ambitious movie to Chris had brought a few, I think three first acts of different projects to Travis, and kind of fell in love with this one. And it ticked all of the boxes in terms of its ambition of doing something different, and also felt like the right period of time to do this movie. I think for a lot of different reasons.
Well, there seems to be a huge interest in cryptozoology, so I could assume that would be one of the things.
Yeah.
Are you guys looking to do a shared universe with, like the Paranorman thing, with Missing Link, and then an alien one at some point?
That's a great idea.
Do I get a 10% finder fee at that
Yes,
point? Okay.
And you have that on camera. John will give it
What's
to
your
you.
name?
We-
Robert Samo, Samo.
That's an incredible idea. I mean, it's neat. What's weird for us is that every movie is intentionally unique. Like, its design sense, we want to make these real worlds, but have them make sense. So, if we were to put all of our characters into the same universe, oh, thank you. Sorry, guys. They wouldn't make sense design-wise. Like, we have humans that look absolutely different from one another, but I think you can do it. What we're really trying to do is really hit every genre. Like, let's do a western, a musical comedy, a romance. I think that's what we really want to accomplish. Sci-fi, yeah. Sorry, John.
No, that's okay. I think that this movie also, from the puppet department's perspective, gave us, they call it challenges, but I would prefer to call it opportunities to explore, new creation. We built a lot of beasts on this film, which was, really exciting and rewarding. Full scale, so they were big puppets too, and we used a lot of new techniques. It's kind of the first time, really, other than Monkey, I think, that we had to sort of execute and produce characters that were, third characters. Something that we're very proud of with Link. It's got a lot of depth. It's always tricky with a stop motion puppet.
John looks over at me when he says fur. Did you notice that? What's that? What's that about?
Yeah.
We just assume you have an array of coats in the
We did
house.
explore the idea of sort of putting armature into every single piece of fur at one point, but that was, I don't think we'd be sitting talking today with that.
What were some more of the? Brandon and I at the other table were talking prior to this about just the ocean liner scene and the ship rolling over and the waves crashing and everything else, and the difficulties of just filming that in a sense. Are you looking for those type of challenges in every movie that you do? Because even just watching the fur ripple and move.
The ocean liner stuff, I think, what I always say is we say every movie is our most ambitious to date, but so we couldn't have done that gimbal work, that ocean liner, probably as effectively as we did if we hadn't done the 4 previous movies. So we're kind of ready for it. I wouldn't say, hey, yeah, we want to tackle this, we want to tackle that, but we want to just tackle any kind of story. We want to not have any limits on what the scripts are. And so when we are expanding our world in that way, being ambitious in that way, we then are innovating to be able to make it happen. And we're so lucky enough to be able to work with people from movie to movie. John has been with us like 2 years, and he's a newbie. He's like
I don't feel like a newbie. But
and so then, we'll have motion control / engineer types who say, yeah, I think I know how to handle this. Then if we keep them on in between shows, they have a little bit of time to do some R&D and research and say, how can we achieve this? So I think that's how that kind of came about. But I swear, guys, a producer, no, God, no, I'm not looking for, I don't want that, it'd be better if we didn't have to have that exact challenge on every movie.
Absolutely. There's a lot of investment in R&D. Leica really pushed for that kind of analog solution, that practical solution in camera, whether it be, stunt puppets or motion control teams. And for filmmakers, which we are, it's a great place to be for that reason, actually. look to every sequence for something special. There's always.
I want to say something about John because I said he was a newbie. I think of him as like a disruptor type, someone who comes in, like we want to keep our people for as long as possible because we learn so much how to work together. And then you're looking for like these geniuses who have a passion for it and come in. And that's kind of how I feel lucky enough to work with him.
That's great. I mean, there's so much opportunity at the studio. We have a lot of technology, and we can explore many different avenues. Eventually, we have to decide on one approach, but we always look to many.
Were the characters written with Hugh and Zoe in mind, or when did they come in on the process?
I think that these are good questions when you talk to Chris, by the way,
Okay.
but I can absolutely answer that. I think that I know that Hugh was kind of in his head,
Oh.
his head. I think that Hugh was more than anybody else. After a while, though, you find. I mean, I really feel like in this movie, everybody always says that, but we really lucked out with the right, talent for those characters, and they really Zach. I don't know that we knew it was going to be him, but then he brought this really kind of unique way of how his line delivery and just how he kind of perceived the character. And then Chris, I think, started to write for that a little bit and kind of geared so that kind of making the character its own. And I think Hugh, we were just looking for. That character is a bit of he can be, I can't say what he could be at this table, but he has to be so, I think the audience, for me, needs to find that he's so charismatic that you're still enjoying watching him, and he has a love for the world and exploration that the audience is not so turned off by him being a little narcissistic or whatever. I love that stuff. I think that I always have fun with those kind of characters.
Yeah, I mean the voice talent is outstanding on this movie. I think they're really well suited to each design. Emma Thompson, especially, is really sold Elder.
Yes.
For me. And,
Where John is a huge expert is, by the way, these puppets. So anything about this, I keep putting you on the spot.
I just want the cane.
He's your guy.
I want a full-size real cane.
I do too. I mean, this probably costs I know. I think he'd be great. I would love to see people coming to WonderCon dressed
Yes.
like him. I would like to dress
That
like
would
him.
be
Well, I already look like Link, so I mean.
I look for.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was just wondering if there was like any particular puppets that you created that were especially difficult for like Hulu and stuff. You had like the moon grandfather that was like yes, that was like incredibly intricate. So I was wondering if there were any characters like that on this movie that had that kind of level of intricacies.
I think if you any sort of fabricator would say any new puppet, any new creation, every puppet is a bespoke and custom built piece, and just getting the amount of investment in your first puppet is substantial, especially at the studio. On this movie, we really sort of wanted to bring that performance from within and enable the animators to actuate that. So I think there was added complexity definitely with Missing Link. Well, the elephant was interesting in that when we looked at the elephant and we saw that sculpt, it was very locked in. It's a beautiful sculpt, but it's a very solid mass. So what we explored was, and eventually arrived at was, we had every puppet has an armature, so and we decided that we'd like to get some stylized bones, like thigh bones, shoulders, and literally pull a thin skin over that model, over that puppet, so we could see some shift in the skin and some weight, and it really gave that puppet a lot of gravity and integrity. It really sat well in that world.
The puppet
Full
is huge.
size in relation to. We're looking at that. Yeah.
Yeah, because even like Susan, Mr. Link, he looks incredibly plush and soft. So I was just wondering, like, did you use any type of different armatures for him? Because like in the animations, like it looks like he's super soft, but these are actually quite stiff.
He is soft on the outside.
A little soft on the inside, but he's full of. I mean, he's full of mechanics. You know, Link actually is probably as a big addition. You know, so we always make replica puppets. He has mechs inside him that will enable him to breathe and take a breath, for example. He has a squash and stretch character, a very lively character.
He's our largest hero character we've had for a long time, and probably weighs the most too.
About 3 kilos, just.
I have no idea what that means. Anybody?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, metric.
Probably about 12 pounds.
Yeah.
6. It's 2.
Well, 2.2.
I think your observation was
6.6.
right, because we wanted him to look exactly the way you experience him, soft and warm and cuddly. We really want the audience to feel like you just want to wrap your arms around him. So we're happy that he looks that way on screen. Yeah.
Were there any like technological developments since like Kubo and kind of dealing with Monkey and like how the fur and everything moves that like helped you actually execute this?
I think the process of finding Link and the materials that it was going to be built out of. You know, when we landed, because it's pretty much silicon. You know, it's a mix of silicon and urethanes, which you know, kind of product you find in your car, for example. All of those materials are in there, and we use them a little differently. So once we decided on that, because it had the most range, contracted, constricted, we needed to make sure that him being made of rubber, it didn't look like rubber. So working through that was quite a journey.
And also the thing that he had mentioned before, like, you know, hair is not the friend of stop motion animation. And so that was just to work out how he would look designed, but you would, as an audience member, really recognize that that's fur, not just this designed element. And that, I think, was you know, for us, that's a big achievement. I don't know if it's an innovation so much. We've had, I think a lot of the innovation came in some of the rigging that John's talking about, both internally and externally we've done, and some of that motion control work that we've done too.
Was there a character that you created for this movie that you would have loved to put in but just didn't work, whether it was style-wise or the mechanism to get it to fit into the story?
You know, I wish I had a fun answer about that. I mean, sometimes what happens is we'll move the additional characters to CG if we just can't do it, if you're only going to see it in 1 or 2 shots, like he's saying. And then sometimes, you know, we get characters get cut in every movie, and these movies too, and I still will like mourn the loss of them. But there's only so much, you know, we want to make, especially our hero characters, as independent as we can, and sometimes we just can't do it. But we do seem to make more, although we didn't make more on this movie, we do seem to, you know, try to be able to make more. Like John is saying, there are all these like bespoke characters. So it's, even though we've had all this experience now, like 13 years of doing it, there's still, all the design and the building are unique. They're like prototypes for this movie, and then we don't get to use them again. So there are some characters who, like, you think, oh my God, how are we going to do this character? And some that you think are going to be really easy, and they end up being really hard. And sometimes they get, you know, brought to CG depending on the schedule. But I think for characters, we want to do them. We really love our facial animation, and we just want to do as much physical puppets as we can.
Yeah, totally. I mean, when the character lists come through, you know, part wants to take every single one, but it's not always possible. There was a yak actually, which was, but it was such a small
But
scene.
it went to CG.
It did.
Those
But we
3
would have
yaks.
loved to.
Do you remember those guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
But they weren't speaking, so that's how we kind of rationalized
No, they're
it.
kind of there.
They make their yak.
But they were wonderful. Fantastic design. And
Although I did love the chickens.
That's a chicken.
chicken's favorite. There's a stunt chicken in there.
Tell me about the
There's
stunt
a
chicken.
rubber stunt chicken, a squash and stretch chicken.
So how do you determine the size of the puppets for filming? Do they vary from film to film?
They do vary from film to film. For this movie, at the beginning, I was really, really keen and wanting to drive them being smaller in scale. Because as a producer who's been around the block a couple times, I know that when they grow in size, the sets grow exponentially, and then you take over more space, you need more people, you need more equipment, it's just a lot to handle. And it's just the fact. I think the sweet spot for an animator usually is between like 11 and 13 inches. That's what's comfortable for them, for the main characters. And then we kind of go from there. And I think it's 5th scale, by the way, 1/5 scale compared to human scale. And what was different on this is we're trying to make the faces smaller than we did last time. That also really helps both the animators. It helps CG when they help paint out the lines, and it also helps the animators. And you don't always want to have those big face puppets on screen. And this movie didn't feel like that movie for that that style of character design. So yeah, these are smaller, and we're also limited by the size of their eyes. The eye rigs in back. It can't be too much smaller, or Glad you guys got that on camera. So.
And I mean, Link really dictated the scale for the rest of the characters on this movie. I mean, he's 8 foot in real terms. So these characters are slightly smaller than normal.
Yeah, and we were thrilled, skinny legs, and we thought it would be easier. We don't have those long flowing costumes that the animators found challenging on Kubo, for example, and kind of the hair. But we always figure out how to make it hard for them no matter what. So if we get rid of the loose clothing and flowing clothing, we will we'll force them to do some other horrible, challenging thing.
And the red nose, notice it.
Yeah. The red noses were something to track because that was a style, but then in post-production we were definitely doing like some rotoing to try to keep it kind of consistent. But it's kind of a style. Do you want to show them? Take their face off?
There you go.
Don't do this at home.
So I think overall, actually, we can speak a little bit about the faces. There are 106,000 faces printed for Missing Link for all characters, and pretty much on this one, it's almost an infinite range of expression.
Oh, it's beyond my range. It exceeds my own
It's really,
personal range.
it's really extraordinary. So yeah,
That is fantastic.
Usually there's split lines. Sometimes. There you go.
see that. So, the eyelids too are separate.
That's awesome.
The animators actually use the tip of a scalpel to move the eyelids and the eyes.
Right, so that's very disturbing. You definitely don't want to do that.
No, you don't.
And sometimes there are hair pieces that also are, moved. But what's different in this movie, we did really like bespoke for every character, for every scene. We used to have a system because it's so, it's infinite. It can be infinite. That was kind of like a kit, and you would try to put it together from the kit. And in this movie, we kind of cracked the nut of being able to do really specific for each scene. And I think that's something we're really proud of on this movie. It's good, subtle animation and really specific to character. I hope you noticed it. Then you can see how these get our visual effects department, paints those out, the seam lines, whenever necessary.
That's good. Thank you.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you, guys.